Hi, my name is Becca. I'm a yoga teacher with UNC Wellness. Today we're going to talk about postures that help stretch and strengthen your feet and ankles. These are two areas of the body that we know get a lot of stress and pressure during the day, but we probably don't stretch them quite as much as we need to. Today we're going to go over standing postures, kneeling postures, and postures seated on the floor. You might like to use some props. So I brought with me today a high stool. This can work for some of our standing poses, or a wall. And then also you might want a blanket and a block for some of our kneeling work and work on the floor. Now all of our poses can be done without props, so you make that choice. Sometimes if our toes aren't quite as flexible as we would like, we might need to use a prop. Starting from our mountain pose, we'll go ahead and close the eyes. We'll focus on the feet. So with your eyes closed, notice which parts of the feet are contacting the mat. Maybe you can feel the toes, maybe the sides of the foot, maybe the heel. Do you find that you're leaning into one side a little bit more with your weight than the other, or do they feel pretty equally balanced? So we're going to find some movement. If you need to hold onto the chair or the wall, you're welcome to do that here. And if it's uncomfortable to move with the eyes closed, you're welcome to open them, but we want to keep the focus and our energy thinking about the feet. So we're going to press back on the heels and then move towards the left side of the foot and then roll forward onto the ball of the foot and the toes, and then to the right side of the foot and then back to the heel. So we're just making some small circles. We're going to do 3 more. Moving to the left side of the foot, forward to the ball of the feet and the toes, then the right side of the foot, and then the heel. So let's take 2 more. Left side of the foot, forward to the toes and the ball of the foot, to the right side of the foot, and then the heel. So 1 more time around. Left side of the foot, toes, right side of the foot, and then the heel. We're standing solid in our mountain pose. Notice if you feel more equally balanced now. Maybe you notice that the right and left sides, we feel equal weight in those feet. Or if you still feel like you're leaning more in one side, check to see why that might be. Maybe you notice you're locking your knee, or you're leaning into your hip more, or you might find yourself slouching a little forward in the shoulders, and try to draw those shoulders back. See if we can feel equally balanced. And we're going to try to lift the toes. So we're going to lift the toes off the mat. And maybe you're someone who can place the toes down 1 at a time. Maybe you're 2 at a time, 3, maybe 4 at a time. It's okay. We're going to go slowly, bringing those toes back down to the mat. And let's try that again. Lift the toes, and then slowly see if you can bring them back down to the mat. Very good. So now we've had time to focus on the feet. Maybe you've noticed you're standing a little taller. Maybe your spine is more neutral, your shoulders are more relaxed. So from our mountain pose, I'm going to turn to my left. And so we're going to do some standing poses. You can hold on to the chair or wall, but these can also be done without any modifications with props. So first we'll start off with lunge, and then we're going to move to pyramid. So for lunge, I'm going to step my right foot back first. And we're going to place those toes on the mat and then press through the heel. Now you can hold on to the wall of the chair. You can also rest the hands on the leg or bring them to the heart. Now if you need a little bit more, you can work that right foot back so you have more space between the right and left foot. Maybe we can lift up onto those toes a little bit more, lifting that heel. Take that right foot, step it in. If you're close to a wall of the chair, you might have to give yourself a little bit more space here and step back. We're going to straighten the left leg into pyramid pose. We're going to keep our spine neutral as we walk the hands down the leg. Now your hands can stay on the leg, they can come to the floor or a block. We're pressing our sits bones straight back, trying to keep the spine neutral, and you'll feel that stretch in the hamstring behind the knee and the calf on down. And then walk yourselves up. Very good. We're going to switch sides. So send that left foot back, bringing the toes to the mat, heel is lifted, hands can be on the chair or off. And if you need, again, more space, you're going to wiggle your left foot back. Press into those toes. Maybe we can lift up onto the toes a little bit more. And then we're going to take that left foot, step it in. If you need a little more space, work your way back from the wall or your chair. Pyramid pose, straighten that right leg, keep the spine neutral, and then fold down over that right side, stretching your hamstring, the back of the knee, and into that calf muscle. And then we'll work our way back up. And then step to the chair. Very good. We're going to work with chair pose next. This is another one you can do holding on to a prop or without. So we're going to sit back into the chair. And as always, our knees are going to stay in line with one another. We're not going to have one knee jut out ahead. If our knees are in line, helps our hips to be in line. Okay? You can hold on if you like. So we're going to tip to the ball of our foot and lift up the heel. This might be a nice one to hold on if you like. Knees are still in line with one another. Maybe we can lift up a little bit higher on those toes. You'll also feel some work in your quads here. You'll bring the heels down and stand up. Very nice. Let's do that one more time. Sit back into our chair. Knees in line with one another. And then we're going to tip up onto the ball of our foot. Maybe come up a little bit higher on the toes. Bring the foot down. And then stand all the way up. So we'll do one more standing posture. You'll probably want your towel or blanket for this one. If you don't have your towel or blanket, you can roll the top part of your mat and it will serve the same purpose. So depending on how flexible your ankles are will determine how much you fold your blanket, the top of the mat, or your towel. So if you have a blanket, just place it on the floor. I'm going to walk my feet up so my heels are on my mat, the toes to about halfway down the foot are on that towel. So you can see here how the higher that fold comes, the more intense the pose. Now to someone on the outside, it may not look like I'm doing too much, but if you're in this position, you can definitely feel it in the back of your leg and that ankle. And so we'll take one more breath here, and then step off. So if you're doing this at home, you're welcome to take that exercise and do it a couple more times. Next, we'll move down to some kneeling postures. So for the kneeling postures, I moved my chair out of the way and to keep my towel because I might want to use that in a moment. So let's go ahead and find our way to all fours. So we start off in a tabletop position. You might put a blanket under the knees if you need that padding. Now you may have done spinal balances and other yoga classes where you're lifting the leg to work on balance and strengthening the core. Here, we're keeping the toes on the floor. It helps strengthen and stretch the toes, the heel, and the calf. Now, if you've ever woken up with heel pain, one thing you can do to help that is to stretch your calf muscle. So this pose is a great one in order to get that calf muscle going. So we're going to send our right foot back, toes are on the floor, and we're going to press through the heel. And you can use as much oomph behind that as you like. So we're going to bring that right knee in, and then take our left foot back, toes on the floor, press through the heel. Bring that in one more time each side. Take that right foot back, toes on the floor, press through your heel. And then take that left foot back. And then come in. Very good. So let's lift up to the knees. So we're going to work with something called toe balance. Now this one can be an acquired taste. You can also use some props for this pose. If you tend to have toes that are a little stiff, this one can be kind of challenging, and that's where props are helpful. Okay? So for this pose, we're going to be on the toes. So we're going to curl the toes under and then sit back on the heels. So we can stay here with the toes on the floor, with the knees on the floor. If that's really uncomfortable, you can soften up the angle a little bit and place towels, blocks with towels underneath the knees, if that's helpful. You can also come to a full toe balance here, and then rock back on the toes, heels off the ground, and hands can be in the lap, they can be at heart center, whatever you like. And let's go ahead and take a break, bring the knees to the mat, go ahead and sit back on the heels for a moment. Let's try that one more time. So we're going to curl the toes under. Our knees can be on the mat, on a towel, or we can tilt back, coming to a toe balance, have our toes on the floor, and our heels lifted. Let's go ahead and bring those knees down. We're going to separate the knees and then sit back to child's pose. Stretching those arms out in front and dropping the head. And from child's pose, we're going to lift up to all fours, find our way to seated. I'm going to send my right leg out first and cross my left right above the knee. So these poses here, some great way to show yourself some self-love at the end of the day. So first we're just going to massage a little bit our foot. So taking the thumbs right there underneath the toes. Slowly work those thumbs in a circle, starting from the center part of the foot and then working our way outwards towards the outer edges of the foot right underneath those toes. And then we might do that again. Bring your fingers, your thumbs right there to the center part, right at the ball of that foot, and then work the fingers in small circles out towards the edge. Very good. So you're going to take that right hand, and you might have to guide your fingers. If you're like me, some of your toes are really close together. So we're going to place a finger in between each toe so we have a nice grip. So this is a nice way to stretch those toes. And so give your toes a little stretch. Maybe press that big toe forward just a little bit. And then as comfortable, you can also roll the ankle. It's nice also to get some blood flow into our toes, and then work the other way. And then release, and then go ahead and send that foot out, and then bring that right leg in. So first we're going to take that massage again, so those thumbs starting right in the middle of the foot, on the ball of the foot underneath your toe, middle two toes. Make some small circles and then work out towards the edge of the foot. And then bring those thumbs back to the middle one more time, small circles out towards the edge of your foot. Then you're going to take our left hand, weave that in between those toes. Maybe gently stretch that big toe forward just a little bit. And then we're going to turn the ankle. So take some nice slow circles in one direction. And then work your way to the other. And then release. Good. So finally, we're going to end up on the back. You do have an option to use your towel or blanket here, so you might keep it handy to the side. And so we're going to roll all the way down. So we're going to do legs up the wall without the wall. So it is nice to brace your back here just to take the pressure off the back. So you can use your hands under your lower back. You can also take your towel and place it under your lower back. And then we're going to lift the legs. So bring the legs up. It's okay if the knees are bent here. And then we'll take a moment to roll the ankles. We can point and flex the toes. Take any movements that might feel good for you. And then we're going to bring the knees down. We're going to hug the knees into the chest. And then roll to the side. And then come back up to seated. So I hope you enjoyed these short exercises to take care of your feet. Have a wonderful day, and namaste.